All right. If anybody can hear me out there, I've been fussing with this for so long. All right. Ooh, gotta. All right. If anybody can hear me out. All right. If anyone can see me or hear me, please let me know. I've been going crazy the last like 2 hours trying to set this live stream up. Um, I just need to get confirmation that you guys can indeed see me or hear me. I believe there's a comment section right there on the side of the live stream. I see some of you are joining now, and welcome to this um, to the live stream. Let me go ahead and just check to see that we're good. All right. I think we're good. Hopefully, I guess more people will be coming soon. But let's go ahead and get started. Thank you guys for watching. And let's just, I want to start by saying, introducing myself. My name is Ariel Martinez, and I am the owner of the Film School Instagram account. For those of you that have been following, um, Film School, I started Film School Instagram account a long time ago, like over about 2.5 years now. And when I started that account, it was really to get connected with you guys. When I started it, I was actually very fresh in the filmmaking industry. I had actually just started my business. Um, and so I started it. And one thing that I really wanted to do was to help you guys learn as I learned. So in the few years that I've had it, I've learned so much, and it actually turned into more of a publicity thing where I wanted you guys to um, to just see the awesome rigs that are out there right now. So with that being said, one thing that I also want to do uh, is I want to start doing these live streams, because if you follow me, you follow me. I'm on. I've been trying to vlog. I've been trying to put good behind the scenes videos together for you. But the reality is, it's hard to maintain a workflow like that, just because when I'm on set, I'm usually a one man band, and it's hard for me to record what I'm doing, and record it behind the scenes of what I'm doing. So it's really hard to maintain things like that, and I'll continue to try to do it so long as it doesn't get in the way of my professional work. But getting connected with you all is something that I've always wanted to do, but I needed to find a way to do it um, efficiently, somewhere where it does not get in the way. So, by the way, this is not my normal voice. I'm sounding like this not because I'm sick, but it's just allergy season. I just got back from Virginia, and Virginia has been. It was great. I was there for 4 days, but temperatures changing, things are going on all over the place, and I actually didn't know I was allergic to anything. But Virginia taught me otherwise. So that's why my voice and I'm all raspy like this. So excuse me for that. And but anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So this is another attempt that I want to try to do to get more connected with you guys. Um, I think this is something that's much more easier to maintain. There's not that much post production involved, and you can catch me live, or you can just see it after I'm done, and catch it then. The only difference is that you won't be able to ask me any questions whenever you want to. So the point of this is to for me to connect with you guys, and you guys can ask me questions. I have a live chat going on right now where you guys can go ahead and type in whatever questions you want, and I'll try and answer them as best as I can, and hopefully continue to get connected with you guys in this way. So one thing that what I want to get started with today is I want to I want to explain to you guys, I guess, my process for choosing a camera. One of the most important, um, one of the most asked questions that I get is, uh, what is the best camera for me, or what camera should I buy? And I've gone through this several times, and I try to answer every person that asks that question whenever they ask me that question. Um, and the answer is never simple. The answer is usually um, based on you. Uh, so let me let you know about my new purchase. If you follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is, I just bought the new Sony FS5, and go ahead and show that to you guys. This is my new workhorse. This is my new, I guess, baby, if you will. Um, I'm happy about it, but at the same time, I'm extremely disappointed. Happy and disappointed. So this is something that I it's a love hate relationship at this point with this camera. I've had it for a week, right? I've only had it for a week, and it's already a love hate relationship. Let me explain what I'm talking about. The reason I bought this camera, the reason why I bought, the FS5 is because one, I needed a main camera. You guys have seen me shooting with the Sony with the Red Epic Dragon for many many uh, months, over a year. And let me explain why you guys haven't seen me with that camera anymore. I was with that camera, I was using it, and that camera belonged to uh, the agency that I was working for, Noiseworks Media. I'm no longer with them anymore. Several months back, I decided to take my business and go full time freelance, which is a very bold move to make. But I felt that I was in that season that required me to have more time out of a 8 hour day office, to be able to achieve the goals that I have set for myself in this industry with my career. So that being said, the only camera I had was the A6300 from Sony, and you guys have been seeing me shoot a lot with that camera. I love the image; they're so good. The A6300 image, which by the way, it's currently connected to the live stream to my computer, and that's what you guys are seeing right now. But it's obviously downscaled a lot. Streaming 720. You're not seeing the full quality with this image, but it's much better than the the built-in FaceTime video from my laptop. So that's a plus. Uh, so I love the image of the A6300, even the 8-bit. It's really good. But I needed a full video camera. I needed a big something that has everything. One thing that I hated doing with the A6300 was it was a small little camera. I would say about this size. This is actually the battery grip of it, but it was a small little camera, and I had to attach so many things to be able to get. I made it work, but it was just so annoying, and it's very inefficient to work with. So I had to uh, I had to make a choice. I knew that I needed a good camera, something that had everything. I don't have to attach anything to, and another thing, something that people won't come up to me and ask, can you take a picture of us? It's like almost insulting to people they when you're there to shoot video and they ask you, let me take a picture. So I needed a good camera. So I had been looking at this. I had been looking at the FS7. I had been looking at Canon Cinema series, the C100, C300, etc. I had been looking at video cameras, something that provides me with XLR inputs and something that provides me with, I guess, built-in NDs. Just a lot of good features that a video camera is supposed to have. So at the same time, my style of shooting is very different than other people. For example, I'm a documentary filmmaker. My niche is documentary filmmaking. My style of shooting is mostly run and gun, handheld shooting. So, a big feature, a big selling point for me was the size of this thing, right? I knew that I was going to be going hours on end, carrying my camera, carrying my rig. So I needed a camera that wasn't very taxing on my body while I'm using it. Another thing is, I needed something that I can grip. I have very big hands, as you can see, right? I have very big hands. I needed something that I can grip. And so this just made a lot of sense. It has a great grip here that I can hold, and it just feels so comfortable, right? I wanted that good audio, so I was able to use my Rode NTG4 Plus. Was able to get it on here and get that good clean audio um, in there, and I have the option of having another XLR input in there, and also there's an interface unit that Sony has that I can add two more XLR inputs to this camera and get four total channels, which is fantastic for the way that I shoot. So I needed all that stuff in the camera, right? I needed the 4K, obviously. That goes without saying. Uh, not that 4K, not that I couldn't do my job without 4K. I just personally, I want that 4K. I want that extra room to work with. Even though I always deliver 1080p for now, I wanted that 4K image, that 4K space. Um, so a huge downfall. Let me move on to the things that right actually almost made me return this camera. Why did I almost return the camera? Um, I'm expecting to get this camera and get a nice image just like I get from the A6300, which by the way blows my mind. When I see that 4K footage on my 4K monitor, it just blows my mind. Um, so I need. I was expecting an image just like the A6300. What I got was definitely not that. The FS5 image, I'm talking about sharpness. The FS5 sharpness is nowhere near the A6300. Let me repeat that. The FS5 sharpness is nowhere near the A6300, right? So if you see the there's tons of footage out there, tons of footage, and I've seen it, and it's been cool, and it's been great, but it's you know when I compare it to my A6300, which by the way, they always tell you test the cameras yourself. They couldn't be more right because when I saw the footage myself, I was so disappointed. This footage is not as sharp as that footage. Right now you're seeing 720, but when I see the 4K footage from the A6300, which by the way is recorded in 6K internally and downscaled to 4K, which is why it's so sharp. But it basically spoiled me. It spoiled me because I wanted that sharpness out of here, and I'm not getting that right now. So that was a huge downfall for me. I was so turned off with the camera when I started shooting it, and I just started seeing that image. It's not as sharp as I'm used to seeing a sharp image. It was just such a downfall. It was such a turn off for me. So the image quality is not as good as I would like it to be. Another thing. So that's just one of the downfalls of this camera, right? Okay, I guess I can get over that, start getting used to this quality footage. It's fine. It's sharpness. I'm talking about sharpness, guys. Um, so another thing that drives me insane, and again, I've only had this camera for a week. I actually took it right away and started shooting in Virginia with it, and I got everything I needed. one thing that I cannot figure out, and I can't seem to figure out, and it's crazy because I haven't seen it online and I haven't seen comparison videos. Um, the 4K and the HD 1080p, 4K and 1080p out of this camera is exactly identical. And that just, I couldn't believe what I was seeing with my own eyes. Um, the MX file's horrible because I have to import it into Premiere to actually view what I shoot. It is an annoyance. It is an annoyance. But the 4K, I did this test 3 times, and all 3 times I imported 4K footage and I imported HD footage. The 4K is 420 compression at 8-bit, and the 1080p is 422 at 10-bit, right? But when I go and put them into the Premiere and I try to see the difference in sharpness, the 4K should be sharper, but I see the same exact image. The same exact image. But, all right, so I zoom in 200%, and I'm going to show you guys all these examples because it's it's incredible that I was just dumbfounded and I could not figure it out. If you guys know anything else that I'm doing wrong, I've only had it for a week. If you guys know a different setting that I should be using, please let me know. I just can't seem to figure it out. But moving forward, it's the same thing. I zoom in 200%, and the 4K should be a better image than 1080p, but it's identical, and I cannot understand why that's happening. So let's I uh I was that alone, that with the fact that it's not as sharp as the A6300 was actually grounds for me to return the camera right away. And I could still return it. It's only a week. I have 2 weeks to return it. And let me just, well, now that I'm in the negatives of the camera, let me just move forward to the next one, which I think is the last one, I think, so far. The last thing that I completely dislike about this camera is the fact that when I have my small HD monitor on top, I have a 7-inch small HD monitor that I love to use, and I had already planned to use with this camera. I can, while I'm recording, I can only use either the small HD or the little LED, the little LCD panel right here on the side. So when I hit record, one of the two monitors turns off. And in order to choose which one, I have to go into the settings and decide which one I want to use. It's extremely inconvenient. If I decide, all right, let me take this monitor off and just start using this monitor to shoot, I have to go into the settings and let it know that I'm only going to use this monitor now, even though it's not even though the HDMI is disconnected. I have to tell the camera use this monitor. It's just so annoying. Um, but that's pretty much it. Now, why am I probably not going to return this camera? Because there's no other camera like it. There is absolutely no. By the way, I have the RAW upgrade installed, and I'll be getting us Odyssey 7Q Plus to go with this camera, and I should be getting that RAW footage. We'll be seeing what that looks like. I still have to see all that stuff, but there is no other camera like this one, right? It does what I need it to do. I can shoot the way I want to shoot, run and gun the way I need to. Right now I have the little 30 millimeter prime on there, which is very small, but I usually have a much bigger lens right here, 24 to 70, 70 to 200, whatever it is. It's still nice and light, you know, and it does what I need it to do, right? I got good slow motion out of this camera, even if it is a buffer. So there is no perfect camera. People will argue that there's a perfect camera. There is none whatsoever. Every camera has its ups and has its downs, and I unfortunately immediately found out what the downs are for the A60, the FS5, and I'm just, what are you gonna do? There's no other camera like it at that price. Let me clarify. At that price, there's no other camera like the FS5 at that price that does what I need it to do. Again, this is the way I shoot. This is the way I need it to work. It doesn't work exactly the way I need it to work. Um, I don't know. When I found out these flaws of, excuse me, oh wow. When I found out these flaws of the FS5, I immediately started looking at different alternatives. I was looking at Canon C100 Mark II, which is, I believe, at the same price point, more or less, but you don't have a lot of the features that this camera already has. You don't have the slow motion like this camera has. And I'm just not crazy about how tall it is. That the camera is just pretty tall, you know? One thing that I love about Canon is the color. That's pretty much it. The color is amazing on Canon. They have a really good color science going on with them, and it's just really, really nice. And I would love to have that with the Sony, but I gave that up for the features that this camera gives. Another thing I love about this camera is it not only has the ND stops on the dial, but it has that liquid crystal is what I think they call it. I could be way off. It has has that variable ND uh, that I can change the ND smoothly. It's a smooth transition, not like changing lenses after lens, because you know NDs are just sunglasses for your camera, but it's a very smooth faded transition to the exposure that you want, and that's something that I really enjoy about this camera. Um, it works really well. It works really, really well. Um, and just a bunch of other features that the fact that it has a top handle. It's a camera's camera. It's a main video camera, and so that's what I needed. And I needed it light. I needed it with good features that was very light, and that I can carry around. And it's so small and compact. I can put it in my backpack. Obviously, once I strip it down, and just travel with it very easily. And that's why I got the FS5. So for those of you that are watching now, I see a few more people have joined us. Um, I'm encouraging you guys to find there's a chat box somewhere around the screen. I don't know if you're seeing this on your phone. I don't know where it would be on your phone. As a matter of fact, let me take a look at that to see where it would be on the phone. But there's a chat box. There you go. Thanks, Daniel. You guys ask me questions. I want to answer your questions. I want to be more. I want you guys to be interactive with me, not just to listen to me, but I want to hear your questions, what you guys think about what I'm saying, and we can have a back and forth like that. Um, so the best travel hard case, the best traveling hard case. Well, I just started at this point in my career. I actually just started traveling so much, and it's actually it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I don't know that there's a best one. I know that the most popular ones is I started getting Pelican cases. I think that's what a lot of the other people do, other professionals use in the industry. So I went with that. I needed something that this is something that's gonna protect my gear. This is something that is is very important because the first time I started putting my equipment, started checking my gear, stuff that's just so much money in a case, and you're trusting that the airline's going to take care of it. You don't want to skimp on that. Um, so I would recommend Pelican. I know Porter Brace is a good brand as well. Porter Brace and Pelican are both up there. I'm not sure that there's any other there at that level. I'm sure there is, but I just I'm drawing a blank right now. I can't think of any other at that level. There's other much cheaper brands, but again, it also depends on your budget. My Pelican cases usually are around 250 $300, but it also depends on what I need. And so uh, Pelican case, porter brace, and I actually have a porter brace, light stand, and tripod case bag type deal. It's really good. It was recommended by my friend David Kuhn that he travels with his C stands and tripods and light stands, and he uses his porter brace. It's a very long bag. I gotta show it to you guys, but it's worked out for me very well. What I had before that was actually one of those stand up hard case uh, cases for the with wheels for your light stands and tripods. The problem with that was is that it doesn't have any give. There's no flexibility on there to add any other stuff, um, and it stands straight up. You know, the porter brace bag that I have, it's a zipper that's very. It sits flat on the ground. It's a very long zipper. Opens. I put light stands, and I even put my grip tape. I put my gaffer's tape. I'm able to put my clamps and a bunch of other little stuff there because I can take that. Now that does get heavy. It doesn't come with wheels. I've been trying to figure out some little hand truck uh, solution for that because it does get pretty heavy to carry that sometimes. But when I use the hand truck, it works perfect. But it doesn't actually fit in my travel bag when I want to take the hand truck with me in the airport. So I have to leave that behind and just keep carrying it. I found that I can rest it on my Pelican case and move around with that. I'm still learning on that stuff, but uh, it's not a. It's more of a trial and error type deal. I actually do have to get a few more Pelican cases for that. Um, oh, nice! You're going to Hawaii. That's awesome. Yeah, man. You gotta protect your stuff, man. It's very important. This camera stuff. And the funny thing is, every time I travel and I check my Pelican cases, I actually have little locks on both ends of my Pelican cases. Um, Whenever I receive my case, those flaps are open, and the only thing holding the case closed are the little locks that I have on there. I guess that's TSA checking my bag, checking the case, making sure there's nothing because there is a lot of electronics in there. But they never either they don't never close it, and it's like I feel some sort of way about that because I don't like to travel, and then I see my very expensive equipment and the case is open. So it gets kind of I don't know how to handle that, but if you guys have ideas again, let me know how I can deal with that because it's kind of nerve wracking when I see my case coming in on a conveyor belt, um, and then the case is like I see the flaps open, it's slightly cracked open, and it's a bit nerve wracking. Uh, for you, for me, is the C100 Mark II. Yeah, the C100 Mark II is that's a great camera, by the way. Great camera. Um, it's a camera that I would consider is very similar to my FS5 here. It just I want the option of good slow motion, you know, and it just I feel for me the FS5 gives me more of what I need for the way that I shoot, um, and it helps me get my shots done. Uh, I wonder if you're using the C100 Mark II. I don't know if you're using it with any external monitors slash recorders. How does that does that handle it well? I would like to know that if you can answer that. Does it handle it well? Like, does the monitor turn off like mine, or could you have both monitors and record and do simultaneous recording? Which, by the way, the FS5 only does that when it records internally 1080p. It could record externally 4K, but it can't do 4K and 4K, from what I understand. I haven't tried it yet, but that's what I keep seeing in the forums that I've been looking at lately. That's interesting. That's never happened to me. Yeah, man, those pelican cases, man. My thing like three times already in my trips. It comes with the flaps open. It's just it sucks. It's it gets me on edge whenever that happens. So, um, man, I'm glad that you guys are interacting with me right now. And for those of you that haven't been, uh, that just came and joined us, I thank you for coming. Um, so these live stream sessions is something that I definitely want to do at least on a weekly basis. I think it's important that that we communicate, that we can interact, because I definitely want to help everyone be successful in filmmaking. Period. Filmmaking is such a broad industry that you could do anything. You could do so much and be a filmmaker. But I definitely want to help any way that I can. I'm in no way a professor of this stuff. I'm just another filmmaker, and I've just been blessed with good jobs, and I just want to basically, as I learn, I want to show you guys what I've learned to do, what I've learned not to do, and hopefully get some feedback from you guys, because I'm definitely stumped all the time with things that I need to figure out. And, this is a good way of us communicating and learning together. Um, so, New World, you say that you're currently using a Ninja Blade monitor slash recorder. Both displays stay on. See, that's great, man. I wish, mine would do that. I don't. Does a C, I, does a C100 C100 Mark II record 4K? Um, I don't know. Let me. This is something I always do. I always go and keep looking this stuff up, and just look it up myself. So for some reason, Canon C100 2 is not showing up on B&H. Do they not sell it anymore? Huh. Does anybody know anything about that? Canon C100. Does B&H not have any Canon C100s? Huh. That's weird. Huh. Daniel, man, listen, I was shooting on 70D. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a great camera. It really is a great camera. Okay. Output's 1080. Yeah, from what I've heard, the FS5, I guess the processor's not strong enough to record 4K externally and internally, and it can only do one or the other. It could do 4K external, and as a backup have a 1080p file internally, but not 4K. Doctor Phantom, thanks for joining, bud. My friend and I went, and we have a film house in Honduras, but we want to win some money for do cameras, microphones, steady cams, tripods. Man, the best thing, just work at it. Make films, make videos, and people will find you. When I started my business, um, I went to everyone and anyone asking, "Hey, let me make a video for you. Do it for free, and just start with whatever you have. Start with whatever you have." Um, and one thing for sure, learn. You know, as a, it took me a while before I decided. Before I figured out that documentary filmmaking is what I wanted to do. I wasn't always like that. I was accepting any job that came in, whether it's a wedding, an event, um, even photography stuff. I mean, it's the same settings. When you have a DSLR starting off, just do those photography gigs. Money is money, and just start saving up. When you get $100, you know, get yourself a little monopod. When I first started, I remember I was so happy. I bought a monopod. I still have it today. I'm actually gonna give it away, but because I just upgraded it, and I still have a lot of the stuff that I started off with, and just now is when I'm really upgrading all my gear. But it's start with what you have, you know. That's the best advice I can give whenever you're starting off your business, and don't get caught up in the high end stuff. The point is, if you have a rich uncle, that's fine, and start off with expensive gear. That's great, but more than anything, just start learning, start making stuff, and eventually, once you'll find your passion for it. Let me put this down. You'll find your passion. You're gonna see that you really love this stuff, and people are gonna find that out. If you love it, you continue, you keep at it, learn, 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 learn. That's all I tell people: learn as much as you possibly can. If you don't know something, find it out. I never went to film school. I never went to film school. I learned through YouTube, and that's all I've ever had. Film Riot was a huge help for me. It helped me so much starting off my business, and it was something that just catapulted me. Every time you see one of their videos, is great. And those guys have a passion for what they do. Uh, Ryan Conley is just amazing at what he does, because he has that passion, and people find that. And so, uh, get that passion going. Like, just make videos, and if people find it, you'll get the budget for the rest of your stuff later. All right, so the C100, C300 both have 4K sensors and only output 1080 422, and I believe the 300 outputs 444. The 500 does 4K external. Yeah, Canon, from what I understand, Canon took a while um, to it's still taking a while to get their features up to par. And that's a big reason why I just don't go with Canon, because to get what the FS5 delivers for Canon in terms of features like the slow motion, the internal ND, the very smooth transitioning ND. Now it has auto ND, which is great. They just upgraded it to auto ND, so I can change the settings of the camera, and the camera, kind of like having automatic ISO or automatic shutter speed or automatic f-stop. I can keep all that stuff manual and just have my ND, my variable ND automatic, which is fantastic. I love that. So I don't have to change. The camera's not changing any of my settings. It only helps with my exposure automatically, and the sensor is the one that is making that happen. So that's pretty awesome. Again, guys, my voice is so bad. I just got back from Virginia, and it's like allergy season out there. We were shooting for our feature documentary, A Horse of a Different Color. I was there for 4 days, getting a lot of content, and all 4 days I was just so nasally and congested. I actually feel a lot better, but I just you can still hear it in my voice. Uh, nice. What did you shoot with the Red Scarlet? I've shot with that camera several times. Uh, I know that reds are not good. You know, people have asked me, why did you just go with the Red Raven instead of the FS5? Now, obviously, if it was up to me, I'd get the best image possible. So, uh, uh, I would get the best image possible. I would love to have the red uh, quality in my films every time. But do I really want to compromise everything else that comes with shooting with the red? Uh, it I I can never do that. So what comes with shooting with red? Huge files, much heavier camera, no XLR inputs, no internal ND, which is fine because when you're on set on a production, a huge production with lights and cameras and a crew, that's fine. You can go around that stuff and get that beautiful red image and deliver a great product. but it's not the way that I shoot. Um, I love Red, by the way. I love Red. I'm Red certified. I took the Red Education Workshop. Red cameras are ridiculously amazing. Best cameras I've ever used. Um, but for my career, in my full time freelance career, for what I do, is just not the camera for me. Um, I need to have much more features for my money. I need to be running good. I need to get all my audio in there. I need to get all that stuff in camera because for the most part, I'm usually a one man band. So I need a camera that helps me with all that stuff. Uh, um, Underwater, I've never shot under. I have, but not for a shoot, like not for a project. I've shot underwater with cool cameras and whatnot, and it was actually very interesting. I like the footage that I got out of it, but I've never shot. Uh, I've never shot anything like for a client underwater, which I think it'd be interesting to try that out sometime. Uh, a short for SWSX. The battery life on those sucks. SWSX. Can you clarify that? What that acronym is? Great images, agree, but it's money pit of upgrades. What are you referring to when you say the New World Film Order? What are you referring to when you say great images, but it's money pit of upgrades? Uh, you're welcome, man. Oh, South by Southwest. Uh, oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, of course. The red camera. Before you, yeah, to even make the camera work, you gotta pay a ton of money. And Red has monopoly. Red is not the cheapest company by any means, right? So they have, yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Red, the quality is amazing, ridiculous, but you got to think what all that comes with. So I can imagine focusing would be hard underwater. Yeah, I could see that. That must be hard. Yeah, it's definitely cheaper than the Airy. Um, so I, you know, I know that the price difference here. Let me tell you guys something. So here's another way that purchasing a camera. Another thing that I do. Yeah, red hard files are ridiculous. When I went to get the FS5, I was FS7, FS5. What are the pros? What are the cons? What do I need to shoot? I wanted the FS7 so bad, and I was almost sure that I was gonna get that camera. But there's a few things that drew me back from that camera. Um, and actually, after I saw the downfalls of the FS5, um, I almost just said, let me just go ahead and get the best one out there. But there's so much money. It's not only getting the FS7 is not only 8,000, which is now 8,500. They raised the price. It's $8,500. Not only that, you have to get the memory cards to go with that, which are very expensive. The XQD cards or something like that. They're very expensive. You have to buy those with that camera. You have to buy extra batteries with that camera to get the raw out of that camera, which I intend to do. I already have the raw upgrade in this camera. To get the raw out, you have to purchase an extension unit that costs 2,000 extra dollars. So right now you're at 10,500, right? Well, let's give it an even 11,000 because with the QXD card you're at about 500-600 bucks already. Um, you're at $11,000. Then you need a 4K external recorder. I mean the a raw 4K recorder externally to go with the extension unit. That's another 2 grand. Then you got to get to power the extension unit. You can only use V-Lock batteries. Those are about $300 a pop, right? So right there, you're at 13,000, 13.5 thousand dollars. Then you need the memory cards for that external recorder for the Odyssey 7Q, which is another $1,000 or so. By the time you know it, you're at $15,000, and with the FS5, you've paid 6,000. I mean 5,750. With the Odyssey 7Q, an extra 2 grand with the memories, and you're good. But it's just so much more to upgrade it. It just made it ridiculous in terms of money to get what I wanted to get from the camera. So maybe in the near future, I would go ahead and invest in that camera um, to get all that good stuff. But right now, the way that I'm working, it's just not in the budget for me to get that right now. We are now working on a new short for Dallas International, but we are using the C100 Mark II and the 7D Mark II. Those are great cameras. Really good cameras. Rokinon lenses are also great budget cinema lenses. You're absolutely right. I used to use Rokinon cinema lenses on the Red Epic Dragon, and I get a fantastic image. And people would even I would post about it on film school, and people would say, "Why are you posting that stuff? Um, why are you using a $50,000 camera with crappy lens?" Well, my client didn't think it was a crappy finished product, so um, there's that. Just because you have an expensive camera doesn't mean you have to have everything expensive. You can go ahead and skimp on a few things, but only you know what it is that you need and how you need it and why you need it. Um, yeah, the I 1.5K. I think I got I had we had gotten when I was at the agency again working with the Red, we had gotten a Rokinon set for 2,000 actually for the Canon mount. I don't know if it's cheaper for any other mounts, but we had paid pretty much $2,000 for a 24, 35, a 50, and an 85. And those four lenses were about $2,000. Um, oh, you got five lenses. That's a really good price point. No, um, yeah, Rokinon lenses go run for about five, six. I think about $500 to $600 depending on the lens. But then you can bundle it up and get four. I I guess New World says five for about uh for less. But yeah, it's uh it's something. It was definitely worth the investment at the time. And again, you got to know what you're shooting. For me, I need more zoom lenses than anything. I like the sharpness of the prime lenses and cinema lenses, but remember, I'm always running gun. Documentary shooting, I'm running gun. Excuse me, I'm running gun, and I need the flexibility to not have to change my lens every time I want a different type of shot. So I like the 2.8 zoom lenses. I only have a couple of them. But anyways, we have about 5 more minutes left in this stream, and I want to thank you guys that have, especially Daniel, New World Film Order, Doctor Phantom, etc. The people that have been joining us. I definitely want to do this on a weekly basis. I want to join you guys. Today has been such a mess, and I was so worried that I wasn't gonna be able to get this stream up and running, but I was able to do it. And the reason you guys see this tarp right behind me, it's so funny. Uh, my room is such a mess. It's horrendous how bad it is. But I had to put this up just because I could not let you guys see that. I have gear all over the place. I'm traveling, trying to get this live stream set up, and I'm glad I finally was able to do it. I needed to tune this stuff up. Uh, and I definitely need to find a good time. I see you. Yeah, I would like to see what works best. This is something that I think that I definitely. It's much easier to do. Uh, uh, Favorite microphone for filming? I got a ton of microphones actually. There's not one. I got lavs. I got shotgun mics for this stream. I'm using a my Zoom H6 as a audio interface, which works very well. By the way, I was actually gonna get the Rode USB to do this kind of stuff, but this works really well. Why spend more money on something that I already have right here? And it's like a mixer in its own that I can use all these dials to. But the microphone depends. But I like to use Rode products. Just because they sometimes sponsor me with some of their gear, but also they have really good quality stuff. And however, I think I'll be going with my next labs. I'll be going with Sennheiser just because slightly better quality and more efficient. Their new ones are very small and compact, and it's just it's more efficient to use that way. Uh, Thank you for asking, though. Thank you for joining us. Um, but yeah, microphones. It depends. Like you doing, it depends on the environment actually that you're doing. Sometimes I prefer shotgun. Sometimes I prefer labs. You know, it depends on what you're shooting. If there's a lot of movement, I probably don't want to lab on my person. But if I can, I'll have them both. But for the most part, I'm a one man band, so it's hard for me to do both. It depends on the scenario. I know Rode Sennheisers are really good. Audio Technica, from what I understand, is stepping up their game. They're still in that very low budget range, but I hear good things about them. I haven't used their stuff myself. I hear their headphones are really good, but we're talking about microphones. Uh, but what are other? Uh, oh, the stream is out. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, man. So the stream is cutting off now. So I want to say thank you guys for joining, and I want to say thank you guys for joining, and for sure, I want to continue to do this. This is much easier. Once this is done, it's gonna be posted on my channel. I want to ask you guys to subscribe to it, and yeah, we definitely want to stay connected with you guys, and we want to have a live chat, live conversation like that, and for sure, uh, I need content to talk about, so let's have a conversation. Uh, but anyways, for sure, I definitely, yeah. I'm sorry about that. Um, I'll give you guys a heads more a better a better heads up there because I know it was like last minute. But is today was my first one. Um, Today was my first one. I definitely want to do more of this, and I want you guys to join me. So if you guys subscribe, you guys will start getting noticed and event notifications of all my streams. And I definitely want you guys uh, to continue talking to you guys about this. So subscribe to my channel, and we'll continue talking next week. Until then, you guys can put more comments here, I guess. And I think you can still write at the bottom in the description. You could continue to add more stuff. Uh, but this was a lot of fun, and I love talking to you guys, and it was great. I definitely want to do it again. So until next time, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good day.